up everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it is going to be the top 5 arcade trees, descendants and builds to invest in. So inside this video, I will give you the build, I will give you the arcade tree and the entire setup for the top 5 that I think you should 100% invest in. So let's just get right on into it, because this is most likely going to be a long one and I don't want it to be too long, so let's go with it. It's your boy. That is our boy Jay. What's the criteria? Okay, so the criteria is going to be how much this tree has helped the descendant. So how were they before, how were they after, and that's going to be like the main criteria. So the overall criteria is going to be min-maxing, how much can you min-max with this tree now as well, and generally how much has it changed from normal usage all the way up to like giga usage. So that's what is going to be my criteria. So we all clear on that? Everyone on the same page, yeah? Just want to make sure. So let's get right on into this video. Now, of course, with all of the descendants that there are in this game, there is a lot of options. There's 19 different descendants. To put them into a list of only 5 is like kind of mixed. Giga usage, I'm just talking about like high level usage. Don't worry about it, Melanie. Right. Number 5, in my opinion, is going to be Serena. Now, Serena is a descendant that is actually quite heavily reliant on the tree. Now, what I mean by this is, if you were to take the arcade tuning tree off Serena, so in this instance, if I was to just, do I have a tree that's not set up? There's no HP on this tree, we'll just use this. We can run this as an example. Serena's HP goes from 20k up to, with the tree, all the way up to like 30k. So, or 32k, but there's definitely 8,000 added. And that is enough to make Serena's 4th ability do even more damage. Now, Serena's 4th ability is already incredibly strong. This is a build, that's not my build. This build was made by Sen. Credits to Sen Evades. We'll tag him and leave a link to his channel in the description. Make sure to follow him. Great creator. Really good with builds. Make sure to check Sen out. But this is his build for Purge. So this is what would be my main use for Serena. I don't even use her very much, but for Purge, this would be a good build to use. Along with this, cooldown and cost on the reactor. External components, you just want to use a full ascending armory set. Simple as it gets. For the weapons, most people are going with the Albion cavalry gun. With that, it's just a full chill setup. And then the Malevolent as well. Full chill setup on here too, along with the cores and being the same thing. And then the dagger with a chill setup too, with firing Viessa on it, to make sure that you can just delete everything else as well. But let's talk about why I'm putting Serena 5th, because of course there's other descendants that benefited from it. Now, the reason I'm putting Serena 5th is because we've genuinely never known Serena outside of the tree. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, she came out with the update on the arcade tree. Sigma Sector was her thing. Despite that, I think that without the arcade tree, Serena would be torn down a little bit. Would it be fair to do that? Not really, because every descendant has the arcade tree. Serena is definitely benefiting from the tree a lot, and Serena is an important descendant that you basically do need to get with the tree. But for the grand scheme of everything else, I'm going to be talking about other descendants in their own niches. Serena is excellent for bossing, excellent for mobbing. I'd give her an A for mobbing and an S plus for bossing. She's literally the best bossing descendant in the game. That much is undeniable. We can all agree on Serena being the absolute best. And yeah, can I have a massive hit of Corpium? I can respect that, but I do think that 100% you should be investing in Serena's tree.
Daddy, chill.
But I think the 4 trees on top of this are gonna be more worthwhile for what they are used for. So that is my Serena pick. On to the next one. Which descendant will I pick here? I wonder. It's going to be Luna. Now, before you grab your pitchforks and you go crazy with everything, I think that this is going to be that. Oh wait, 1 second. Let me check my Discord. Check my Discord real quick. Okay, 1 second. You shouldn't. Okay, got it. So this is going to be Luna. This will be the biggest mouth opener part yet. Fair enough. And you may find this list biased, but in terms of higher level play and everything that I do with Luna, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay? Before you start mobbing me, hear me out. How is Luna 4 and Serena 5? Okay, fair enough. With Luna, she was already capable before, right? Luna was already a very strong Descendant before, and she was more of a support with this. You could DPS with Noise Surge builds, but her DPS wasn't that great. Now this module right here, Arche Concretion, basically scaled off MP. And now with Luna and this tree, you can make your MP fairly high. With the tree that I use on Luna, this is the correct tree, straight up maxed out on MP. Luna as a support benefits from this tree a lot more than Serena does as a bossing Descendant or as a playing Descendant. Luna's overall increase from this is significant enough to the point where I'd say if you do play Luna already as a support Descendant, you can 100% rock with her with this build, and it will help even more, whether it be with your skill power buff or whether it be with the firearm buff. I think that this is a good way to buff up Luna significantly. Specifically for buffing, she's great. I would use her more so for buffing versus for her Noise Surge. So for her buffing build, you just want to go with everything that's got like maxed out parts on it. I don't know why I don't have cooldown on there, but 2 pieces of duration and then 2 pieces of cooldown on here. Cooldown duration up on the reactor would be good as well. And then for her Arche tuning tree, this is what I would run. That's basically the tree, at least. Then for her Noise Surge build, I believe it's over here. There you go. You just want to make sure you run a weapon with Briskwalk on it, just to like buff up Luna's speed. Full Slayer set on this one for damage. Crit rate and damage I've gone with, but singular and crit damage would be good. And then I've gone with just full damage everywhere on here. And yeah, I thought you used Hungry Sonic on Luna. Have I been lied to? Hungry Sonic on Luna? 1 second, please. Let me have a look at that. Do I even have any Hungry Sonic parts on me? I don't think I do. Do I? Hungry Sonic on Luna would work really good, but this is specifically for Noise Surge build. So we're not actually talking about min-maxing possibilities, creativity, brute force, and actual usefulness, but instead someone who needed the trees and benefited the most. I don't see the point in that. Someone that benefits more is on the lower end. Someone benefiting less is usually in the top percent already. Getting even more, the higher percentage, the more impactful one, the tiny one gets. No. Let me read that one more time. So we're not actually talking about min-maxing possibilities, creativity and brute force, and actual usefulness, but instead who needed the tree and benefited the most. I don't see the point in that. Someone that benefits more was on the lower end, and someone benefiting less is usually in the top percent already. Gaining even more, the higher percentage, the more impactful tiny one gets to know. We're talking about that as well. Yeah, so we're talking about the Descendants that are in the top 3 now are going to be the ones that were in the middle that have been pushed up to the top a lot more, in my opinion at least. Like I said, this entire list is subjective, but I do think that this is the biggest difference. This is just my own personal opinion, so you know, take it how you will, but this is just my take on it after experimenting with a lot of the trees quite a fair bit as well. Okay, let me just quickly check Hungry Sonic with Luna, because I've forgotten what the set does. Hungry Sonic with Luna does sound like it would work really well though. MP heal modifiers? F-Lux. Shit. No, yeah, you should definitely be using Hungry Sonic. Hungry Sonic with the buff. Hungry Sonic in buff, with buffing build, yes. With DPS build, I use Slayer set. Sorry. Is this list viable to hold up in the highest level of Purge? This is talking about the Descendants in their own niche. So, Serena's niche is bossing and mobbing to some extent. Luna's niche is support. And then also inside of maybe a bit of DPS, but Luna's main niche is support. That's how I'm a Luna setup. Yeah, I was going to say Slayer for damage, Hungry Sonic for buffing. Yeah, that's what I would do. I don't know why Hungry Sonic wasn't on there. My apologies about that, 3. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Right, on to the next one. Which most common set for the 2-piece Invader, 2-piece Annihilation, or Hungry Stomach? Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to be focusing on Purge because Purge is not absolutely everything, but I'm going to be focusing on the Descendants and what they were good at, and how the tree has made them better. Is my main thing, I would say. Okay, on to the next Descendant. The next Descendant is going to be Valby. Valby is going to be number 3. Because Valby was strong at mobbing and strong at bossing. But what has happened to Valby since this tree has come out? She's become even stronger for both of them. So she was about a B in mobbing. I would say she's gone up to a high end of an A for mobbing. And then for bossing, she was already an S. You can't beat it more and take it even further. They did change the bosses' systems, so you don't get time to set up with Valby anymore. But she can still rip all bosses apart anyways. Apart from Tormentor, which I haven't really made a specific build for yet, I do think Valby overall has benefited quite a lot from this tree, to the point where I do think you should 100% invest in this tree. So what does Valby look like bossing? Valby bossing now, after the way that they've reworked the system for the Colossi, previously you'd be spawned in, you'd have chance to run around the boss room and get all your setup in with Valby. But now they've reduced that to only being like a second or two, so Valby doesn't have time to like go throw out 10 of her first abilities beforehand. But even with that, you can go to the boss and throw 2 of them out or 3 of them, depending on like how fast you are to get there, and you will still be doing significant damage to them in solo at least, or if you were to run 2 Valbys, or depending if you run Luna and Valby for the crit Valby, you can do a lot more. Not a pizza right now, but they changed the conditions of unpredictable set and changed the modifier to 31. Could potentially be massive if the conditions change. I'm not 100% sure, Vi. I'll check that for you a little bit later, player, if that's alright. But I think Valby has massively benefited because even with a hydro pressure bomb build like this, the one build, you can use this for absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. This is great for mobbing, and this can also do damage to the bosses, but this is just generally what I think is the absolute key with Valby. Now you want to make sure you've got cooldown on the reactor. Fusion's good for damage as well. Hand cannon, because you want to be using the Peacemaker as a stat stick. I run speed on it, simple as it gets. Then for the Valby's actual tree, this is what I have gone with. So, may look a little bit weird, and honestly you could even fix this tree up now, because I did go around this initially because of, hang on a second, I've got to reset this entire tree, don't I? Oh, there you go, tree set. No, it's not, fuck's sake. Alright, give me a second, let me fix this tree up, just because I had it set up differently because of skill power. So let me update this tree now, because this is Valby, it's a non-critting build, so let me sort the tree out for you. So you'd want to go this way, go up towards your damage, go up towards here. If you're going to use it for Colossus, grab the Colossus over there. If not, then just go this way. Simple as it gets with Valby. That's basically the tree for Valby, I would say. They haven't changed the condition, but they made it skill power higher. Fair enough. I see. Because it's unpredictable. The only Descendant I can think of who truly benefits from the tree is Viessa and Keelan. Interesting. We'll talk about that. We will talk about that. So, yeah. This is the tree you'd run on Valby. If you're not running against Colossi, then I would just recommend replacing that and then throwing on some HP if you would like. But if you are running against Colossi, then, you know, make sure to put them Colossi on. It'll be a tiny bit extra damage, and it is still overall worth it. Now, Valby was already a strong Descendant, like I said, but this tree has just allowed her to jump up in tiers from being I already thought that she was one of the better Descendants. She's jumped up to being that much better, in my personal opinion. So that is the biggest thing in my tree. The top MP recovery modifier seems as good as well. Yes, sir. The top MP recovery modifier with Valby would also be really nice. Yeah. This where not is it? Can't even find it. I'm blind. Yeah, this here. MP recovery out of combat. This is good for skill spamming setup. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's another good call with Valby as well. You can mess around with the trees, but this is like the general tree I would recommend, at least. Oh, the other one. Where is that? Max MP? From Starpoint? Alright, Enhanced Mana Leech modifier. Yeah, sorry, this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is also a good call. HP or this one, either. You know, you can mess around with the trees a bit, go back and forth and stuff, and the trees will all give you a little bit of varied results is the main thing I would say. Okay, now let's go. What reactor? Cooldown and fusion. Valby always needs cooldown on her reactor. Then fusion's just good for damage, I would say. Okay. I think I've about summarized Valby up. Obviously, Slayer set for damage. If you want to replace the Slayer set, then I would recommend going with, what was it? 2 pieces of Hunter and then 2 pieces of Annihilation for extra cooldown, as well as having extra duration. 2 things that are nice on Valby. The damage is definitely there. With Slayer set, it's more damage. Completely optional. Go back and forth with that sort of stuff. Simple as it gets. Right, number 2. Let's talk about the number 2 pick. Let me see. What did I write down before? I know what I was going to do for number 2 and for number 1 anyways. But, yeah. You guys are not going to be surprised. I think Viessa is the second best tree to invest in. Is this going to be any surprise to anyone? Most likely not. Will it make you probably question my number 1 spot? Yeah, it probably will. But at the same time, I think Viessa is the second best, borderlining to the first best. Borderlining. It is so close between Viessa and the number 1 spot. I've got to talk about it a little bit more. So, with Viessa, personally, I run an absolute full damage build. So, I run this. This is just my preference. I go full damage because I can keep up with speed and everything else with my Secret Garden having 3 sprint speed cores on it. Full damage on Slayer set as well. And then chill and cooldown, so on and so forth. Chill singular and then chill and cooldown on the reactor. Then for the Arche tuning tree, I would just go with raw full damage and a touch of HP. Viessa does not need any crit rate at all, so you don't need any of that. And then raw crit damage. So straight up as it gets, right? So Viessa is one of the Descendants that got it absolutely another completely new breath of life into her. Now, you could replace the Slayer set with the Polar Knight set, I believe it's called, if I can find any part of it. I don't even think I've got it on me. But the Polar Knight set is a good one to replace Slayer set with Viessa. You can get more damage overall with Polar Knight set. So, the way you'd use this is by using the Frost Watcher. And you would basically use the Frost Watcher to get more damage out of it. And then overall, you can out damage the Slayer set with the Polar Knight set. That is something that is worthwhile doing. I also had people asking, why would I not run Singular Specialist on here? Or, wait, what was it? I can't remember what module it was. It was a Singular module. Singular, focus on Singular instead of Spear and Shield. There you go. We've got even more damage on there. Now we've got more cooldown and more damage. Buff up the Viessa even harder. I do read the comments and I do make changes. There you go. It wouldn't be on a list of TFD video without Bunny at the number 1 spot. Really?
No chance.
Okay, interesting. For our number 1 spot, who do you guys think is going to be? If this list isn't biased, then she may not be on the list. Interesting. Glare question mark? Keelan? Okay. Number 1 spot is going to be Ajax. I think Ajax as a tank is... I'm joking. Number 1 spot is Bunny. It has to be Bunny. In terms of scope, it's too big to not call it Bunny. Before you get mad and say this list is biased, yes, this list is biased. 100%, this list is biased. Nobody likes, or a lot of people do not like watching Luna gameplay. A lot of people do not like watching Bunny gameplay for that matter. But before you hate me, at least hear me out, right? With the build that I run, a complete and utter damage build with Bunny is such a massive step up. Complete damage build like this on Bunny with a sprint speed weapon keeping you at max speed and max damage from Slayer set and max damage with Singular and max damage out of the tree, specifically the tree, because previously Bunny's biggest issue and the reason Bunny could not keep up with Freyna or even with Ines is the fact that Bunny simply did not have the damage. You could time your electric condenses to a pitch perfection and it still wouldn't make a difference because the damage just simply was not there. It was just not there. But with this now, you have the speed and the damage to outplay Ines, to outplay Freyna. Now, in terms of the Descendant hierarchy, before this tree came out, did anyone ever even think that Bunny would come back into the conversation at being at the absolute top in mobbing? We all knew Bunny was in the top 3, for sure, but Bunny taking it as, in my opinion, the actual overall straight up best now for mobbing, with the setup I run at least, is something that nobody saw coming, and the resurgence of Bunny in this is honestly insane. I've yet to see Bunny outplay Freyna or Ines, sadly. You just need to run into the right Bunny for sure. But in my opinion, if you do know how to play and you min-max everything like myself does with Bunny, you can outplay both of the Descendants. I run a sprint speed Peacemaker just to stay at max sprint speed, and then I also will switch to the Python manually to use the brisk walk whenever I want more movement speed. Then for any bosses or elites, I will just use the Smithereens with this build on it. It's the same Smithereens you'd run in Purge, still absolutely rips apart. In your video, did she not? Outside your video, no argument rejected Jaber dethrones. Shut up, Vi. But overall, I think the biggest jump was very, 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 very close between Viessa and Bunny. Bunny only managed to take it by an ever so slightly because she outplayed 2 Descendants in it. With Viessa, she didn't really have a main person to fight, I guess. Thank you for the follow, Flambe Query. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's go. We got a new follower. New addition to the Twitch family. Let's go. But my main thing is that Bunny essentially stepped up a lot. And it even went to a point where her other builds became a lot more viable. This is my Ines killer build, at least is what I've been calling it. Then even with the other builds, it did actually add another level of life into a bionic fuel build, which I am working on. Actually not hell, I'll just give you the build for it now. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. For the bionic fuel build for Bunny, you would want to run full invader. So you'd want to run full invader set. With this, for your reactor, singular, and you don't even need duration up or anything of the sort. With this, of course, you're gonna be very much into the nicer cooldown and have more duration with this, but this is just how I would run it. So you can run this with non-crit as well. So if you were to run non-crit, you just go for the amplification mods. So electric amplification, singular amplification, and then you could literally just go with even more cooldown on here. So, you know, MP accelerant, that would also work quite nicely on here. More MP on Bunny too. This is a pretty good setup, and you will run this for Bunny. Oh, sorry, no, wait, what should I be running? This is a stim setup. Let me run shield, increase shield, there you go. Now we've got more survivability on Bunny as well. So this is the build that I would run with bionic fuel along with the invader set, so you'd permanently get extra range and extra duration out of this. The reactor will give you a little bit of a buff too. As for Arche tuning, you don't really need to run this tree. You could mess around with the tree a little bit more. The bionic tree I came to use was this one. Just more cooldown, more damage, simple as it gets. You know, Bunny's pretty fun to use anyways, but this is just what I do. I was going to say, check out my YouTube channel. Yeah, thank you, Becky. You beat me to it. I disagree. I believe the real reason, like, Bunny couldn't keep up with Freyna and Ines is that they don't need to be where the enemies are at. I think that's an interesting take, Sonic. Actually, that's a very interesting take. Because with Freyna, you can shoot through the wall. With Ines, you can shoot through the wall currently. We are yet to see whether that gets nerfed. With Bunny, you just fucking run everywhere and then just get a hit through the wall regardless. But this is the bionic fuel build that I've not actually released yet that I would be running. This is also a really pretty good way to run Bunny. If you would like to have completely infinite MP on your second and fairly strong damage, this is going to give you that. Along with 12,000 HP, a good kick around about 3 to 500,000 ticking on your third ability, so on and so forth. This is the damage bunny build as well. And yeah, I believe that would almost conclude everything on this list. This is just my personal opinion, and I did say that this list is biased 100% because I do play Descendants differently to other people, of course. But if someone was to ask me which Descendants do I really need to put the tree on, I would say Bunny, I would say Viessa, I would say Valby, Luna, and I would also say Serena. Now, why Inés isn't on here is because Inés does really not benefit from the tree as much as these other Descendants. That's just my opinion though. Because Inés was already capable of doing everything herself. The tree did not need to be added to Inés. Inés needed the tree. Please show Infinite MP Bunny again. This is the Bionic Fuel build. Glare, 15% firearm isn't enough to make a drastic difference on Glare in my opinion. The Restored Relic was already capable of doing everything, along with the Last Dagger. This is the build that I would use for Bionic Fuel. Inés does benefit massively. She does benefit, of course. Every Descendant benefits. But is it as big of a benefit compared to Viessa? Or compared to Bunny? Or compared to Valby? That's the thing. What's her tree in comps? Tree is... set is Invader. When she gets nerfed, she'll probably benefit from the tree more than she does now. See, that's what I'm waiting for. That's the reason Inés isn't on here as much yet. So Invader set for the components. And then for the tuning, this is what I've gone with. I was going to say, I've ran a lot of tests. I've been running a lot of these Descendants all day in and out. And these are like the top 5 I think genuinely make the biggest difference. My own personal opinion though, of course. If you disagree and you think I've missed something major, or a specific build or a synergy or something I need to test out, leave it in the comments. I will test it. I've got plenty of time on my hands anyways, so I will test your synergies and I will take care of everything else. Everyone's going to build it differently. True, we respect your opinion. That's completely fair. That's fair. Reactor, I just run singular and duration up, but singular and cost, singular is just the main thing. It's anything else than singular. I want your opinion when I touch you. Okay, right. That's a good call to end the video here then, guys. So this has been a in-depth video on why I think every Descendant has benefited from the tree, what I think they benefited from, so on and so forth. But like I said, if you have a different opinion, leave it in the comment section below. But yeah, that's been this video. I hope you've enjoyed. Smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.